Alright, hi everyone, I'm Brian, and today's episode's gonna be a bit different because it's not scripted content. It's not good content anymore. It's now gonna be like a podcast. It's just gonna be me talking about random things. I don't know. Why did I decide to do this? Because I'm bored, and I have time, except for school. School just started, and also because doing this means I can just pump out I can just make videos without having to put in effort. And that's all I want. That's all I want. Right. So I think our school started a bit earlier than everyone else's. What's today? Today is August 17th. That's quite early. As before, when I was younger, like in elementary and middle school, like school started in like September, and we had like 3 whole months, like all of June, all of July, all of August. But now it's like they've shortened it down. They've been cutting like a day, like a couple days per year, till finally it's like 2 months, 2 months of break, and that's all. Yeah, it's quite unfortunate. And see, I don't see the reason for needing like the first day of school, because all we're doing is like meeting everyone that we already know. Because see, I already know the people who I had met in earlier years and previous years, and like, I don't need to like wait to see them again. I mean, sure there may be new teachers, but we just learn all of that online. They can just send us like a syllabus and like a video of themselves, because that's that's basically what we have to do. We just have to present ourselves to our classmates, who we already know, because we've been in school with them for the past 3 years. It's just the teacher we don't know. It's just that in the subject. That's all. I don't see the reason why we need to like have an introduction day. Like it's a teacher. It's the teacher that has to introduce themselves to us. Why? It's so much more efficient. See, it's like um, one person introducing themselves to like hundreds of students, rather than hundreds of students introducing themselves to one person. It's just bad. And then, and also the assignments on the first day of school are incredibly lame. Like, you don't do anything for like the first week. It's just, okay, introduce yourself. I want to know you guys even more so I can remember your names. And I mean, sure, but in the end, do you really? Or if when we leave, are you really going to remember all of our names? Some teachers, they ask us to make name tags so that they remember our names. They're like, oh, okay, I'll make sure to remember your names in like 3 weeks. And I mean, sure, that's fine, but I don't think anyone really cares. I really don't. We address the teacher. Most people address teachers as like Mr. or Mrs. Blank, and like why? I mean, yeah, wait, or I mean, it's not why. It's yeah, that's how it works. So why do you need to know us personally? Why do you need to know our personal lives? We're probably never gonna meet after we leave your class ever again, unless we have like something asked for you. Uh, what the heck? There's a quiz. At what the heck? Oh, okay. Wait, what the heck? Uh, I. What the heck is this? What is this quiz? You just click the spacebar and you're able to use it. Where did they get this pressure plate? Uh, I was just. Wait, oh, there's more. Oh, what is this? This is a scam. How'd they get this set up? Change our direction mid-air. Wait, what? What do you mean? You just click WASD. It's not skillful at all. Do we go back? Okay. This is the easiest daily commission. Yeah. And there's an issue with going back to school, because there's some whiplash, right? You're sleeping until like you're not even sleeping. You're staying up till like 5 a.m. just sleeping through the entire afternoon. You're gonna wake up at like 7 p.m. and then do that for like a month. Yeah, it's time to go back to school. So what you do? You wake up. You have to wake up early, right? You gotta pack up. You gotta take a shower. You gotta eat breakfast. And then you get there, and then you have to learn. You actually have to do things. and it's lame. See, there's too much backlash, which is why instead of having like an introduction day, it's just... Actually, I'm proving myself wrong. Never mind. Never mind. I lied. I lied about all of this. Although I do find introduction days pointless. Just throw us into the world. Fine. And speaking of actually knowing the work, I feel like most people forget what they learned in the previous year. Most of the time, the teachers have to reteach everything just because of that. And to that I say, that's very flawed. And that's why we should have a different type of education where you just learn one thing, one trade, one job, all your years. You choose one thing and you master it. You choose one profession. That's all. That's more efficient, because what am I gonna use? History. When am I gonna use the dates of the Civil War? When am I gonna use like the people? When am I gonna use that information? I can't bring any like information. I can't restate it because I don't know any of the information. That's why I'm saying I don't need to know any of this. I don't need to know history. I don't need to know parallel structure in English. I need to know none of this. It's useless. Although math is kind of cool. Math is like puzzle solving, but with like, I don't know. There's like laws and rules in math, and that's why it's fun. But then history and English, it's much more. It's much more freestyle. It's somehow very free and also very limited. You're like okay. So for like a class, like I forgot the class name. What, like AP language, AP English language. So what you do for like, in that class, you have to write 3 essays for the final test, for the AP test, and one of them's a rhetorical analysis essay, which is basically taking what the author said and trying to, I guess, describe why they said it, or it's basically, yeah, just trying to make do of the author's words. And then, not only that, you have to reason why the author used it for the specific audience. And that's just why? Why can't we just use our own interpretation without needing to consider who it was actually written for? Because in any case, after we read that like, I don't know, that book, that letter, if we read that written piece, it's never gonna be used again. We're never gonna see it ever. It's useless. And you could argue for some other classes, like, I don't know, maybe science. It's useless. But the thing is that science and math and STEM education is much more prominent in the actual world rather than history and English. Because really, history, none of it is important. None of it. The only part of history that's useful is like modern history, and that's not even history. That's just modern day. You can just look at the news and that's history. Yeah. And then in 12th grade, there's a class called economy and like U.S. government. I mean, okay, economy's cool. U.S. government, why would we need to know? Are we gonna learn like the laws of the world? I have no clue. I don't know. It's the first day of school. Yeah. And then everything else is okay. Foreign language is okay. It's fine enough as a class. Although it's very structured. It's unrealistic, because for the test for those classes too, you have to write like long essays, when in reality, all you're trying to do is talk to some other person in the foreign language. All you're trying to do is say, hey, where can I find these like apples in like the grocery store or something, and that's all you're gonna need it for. If you're an English speaker, you're probably not even gonna need it. I forgot everything I learned. I needed none of it. None of it. I passed a test, and what did I get out of it? Nothing. Nothing at all. I just got a number. But like the language itself is cool, but like everything else, like writing essays, everything else except speaking and listening is essentially useless unless you're going to move to that area. In that case, it's pretty awesome. But if you're gonna move there anyway, then why would you Why would you continue your education in the States? And moreover, you could also just take these classes in college. Like, college just makes you redo everything in high school. Like, on your own. And then you have to pay them, like, $90,000 apparently. Yeah. I'm not excited for that. No one wants to pay money for education. No one wants to pay $90,000 for something I can find on... Like, I've heard stories of people whose professors make their own, like, textbooks, and then they use those textbooks to teach the class, and they're like, oh, if you don't buy my specific textbook that I probably just stole from some other person and changed, like a couple words, and I added my, like, one page that's incredibly useless, then you're gonna fail the class. And then you get scammed out of your money. It's trash. I can find that on my own. I can just consult some resources that I will not explain, but yeah. See, like, most of the things in the world are incredibly expensive. And what do I do? Guide to freedom. No, these are not guide to freedoms. I'll just do pyro. We're just fine. Anyways, most things are overpriced. And how did I get here? Okay. Aside from that, yeah. College is incredibly overpriced, and it's a scam, just like the education system. It's trash. It's terrible. Just like the first day of school. It's bad. It's useless. Useless. One day I'm gonna look back at this video that I may or may not publish and be, oh, how did I get here? It's been so long. Or maybe not, and I'm just gonna not get anything out of this. To me talking. It's whatever. Anyways, it's probably been over 10 minutes, which means I can finish, but I'll just kill this for fun. For fun. Yeah. Genshin's like a really good game to turn your brain off to. It's just mindless combat. You just click E, Q, WASD, and then the mouse. And that's really all. That's really all. Genshin's an easy game. I mean, rolling might be hard, but otherwise, it's just a gacha game. You can survive with, like, the free characters. Like, this is like a well-designed game because the 5 stars here, they're not, like, incredibly overpowered. They're like, yeah, they might be better in some situations than 4 stars. Things that the constellations that 4 star have are a lot easier to get, and also by the time that, like, a new 5 star comes out, they're gonna have, like, another one that, like, does something completely different. And then you have to choose who to get when you have all the 4 star alternatives already, so you don't really have to choose. You choose who you like based on their design, or their attack style, or their character, story. Yeah. And now I don't know where this tangent is going. Anyways, this flower is going to die. I do no damage. Did that say 13 damage? Oh wait, there's a shield. Wait, where's the shield? What? Where's my damage? Look, my queen might not have any artifacts, and she might have, like, a level 19 Skyward Atlas I just got, but where's my damage? What? It's the it's a P. Oh, goodbye. Never mind. He's alive. He's alive. Wait, I did not realize that. Like, over here. Water Sayu. Water form. Water form activate. Very cool. Now we just get this. Why don't they let us use condensed resin on this? I just want efficiency. Why can't I just use all 5 condensed resin on, like, one thing? Like, sure, it might be cracked, but then just let us use, like, an exponentially increasing amount of crystal cores. Like, why can't I like, why can't I combine 2 condensed resin into a super condensed resin with, like, 2 crystal cores? So that'll take 3, and all it does is, like, make it more efficient. Cause the thing is that crystal cores are not that common. Like, you could farm them, but, like, is anyone really gonna do that? Look, I have 97, only 97, and you look at my other material, 1500 white iron. 2,800 raw meat, 2,300 bird eggs, 1,800 fowl. Yeah, and those are all from the adventure. Yeah, but I don't really know what this is. I'm probably gonna post more because these are incredibly easy to pump out. It's like those trash animation channels where they just like use a fake story, then like animate it in like Google Slides or something, and then they just post, they just farm the content, and then it gets views because I don't know, they do something to your brain. They're like, oh, I don't know. It's whatever. Anyways, that's it. I did my daily commissions in my Primo Jump count, 5,820. It's pretty nice. If you look at my history, I rolled like an hour ago. I don't even know if it's gonna show up then because it says it takes like an hour update or an hour to update. But you should be seeing, please. Oh, never mind. It did not update. It's over. It's over. Right. Well. Yeah. Anyways, that's how I got the Skylord Atlas for Klee, and other than that, that's the Genshin. I don't know what to call this. The Genshin Impact podcast, the Bri the Bot podcast. It's just me talking for I don't know 15 minutes now. Right, it's whatever. Right, see you all later. Goodbye.